While the teams in the WCHA are taking a much-deserved break, we didn't want to leave fans from across the league with hockey withdrawals. Welcome into a very special edition of the WCHA Highlight Reel. I'm your host, Kirsten Krull, and I will be showing you all of the top moments from the league over the course of this past year. To start this show off, let's skate down memory lane and go back to last season. Seeing your team play in a major game will leave any fan on their toes, but for Bulldog fans, this game may have left them on the verge of a heart attack. The Bulldogs of Minnesota Duluth headed into a double overtime in the Frozen Face-Off semifinal last season, but Laura Stalder would secure a Bulldog victory this night as she netted the game-winning goal. In the WCHA Final Face-Off championship game between the Badgers and Bulldogs, there was one goal that stood out among the rest. Sarah Nurse lit the lamp on a shorthanded beauty to put the Badgers up 3-1. Let's not forget to mention this goal also made SportsCenter's top plays. It is every hockey team's goal to make it to the Frozen Four, and in the Frozen Four semifinal, Wisconsin's Melissa Channel scored the game winner to advance to the championship game with less than 20 seconds to go. The Patty Kaz Award is one of the most coveted trophies in all of women's sports. The WCHA is fortunate enough to have 7 recipients of this award from their league, and last year Wisconsin's Anne Renee Desbians took it home. In the 2017-2018 season, there have been a handful of players who you could tell ate their Wheaties on game day. There are 3 women who had some remarkable games this year, so let's go ahead and throw our hats off for them as we take a look at this season's hat tricks. In a 5-1 Wisconsin win over Mercyhurst, the Badgers could thank freshman Brett Pettit for her 3 goals that led to her first collegiate hat trick. In the non-conference matchup between Ohio State and Robert Morris, Tatum Skaggs recorded her first collegiate hat trick. That hat trick helped improve Skaggs' stat sheet as she is the Buckeyes' leading goal scorer. In this next highlight, we must note that the goals scored did not officially count, but we were still impressed by this young gun nonetheless. Minnesota State's Sarah Bustad also had some tricks up her sleeve as she pulled off her first collegiate hat trick against the Minnesota Whitecaps. There is one woman in the WCHA that not only has impressed the league since she first put on her Cardinal and black jersey, but she's also impressed ESPN a time or two. They don't call her Silky Tilky for nothing. Julia Tilke found her way onto SportsCenter's top 10 plays for the first time this season when she netted this backhander against UConn. The accolades don't stop there, as Tilke toe-dragged past Minnesota State defenders to net this beauty that landed on the ESPNW top plays. Some nights, it appears that a team has a game in the bag, but some nights, there's a team who comes from behind and impresses everyone. In this next top moment of 2017, we will talk about a team who found a way to come back and win a time or two. When St. Cloud State headed down to Mankato to take on Minnesota State, it looked like they were going to sweep the weekend series. The Mavericks proved this night how tenacious they could be as they overcame a 1-0 deficit to win night 2 of the matchup 3-1. The Mavericks found themselves down against Lindenwood in a game that had been back and forth all afternoon, but for the second time this season, they were able to pull off a third-period comeback to win 5-4. The Gophers have found themselves looking for a hero multiple times in overtime this season. With 4 different overtime victories under their belt, there are 4 different skaters who deserve some recognition. The Gophers found themselves at a 3-3 tie up in Bemidji, but Sydney Baldwin came in clutch and sealed a win for the Maroon and Gold. In a non-conference matchup against Mercyhurst, the game was tied 1-1, but credit for this win is going to go to Taylor Wendt, who scored on the power play. The Gophers weren't willing to give up their 1-0 series lead against Lindenwood. Lindenwood fought back in night 2, but Olivia Knowles netted the game-winning goal and Minnesota went home with the weekend sweep. Minnesota went up against a Bemidji team that had been playing exceptional all season long. This game in particular ended up being tied at 2 apiece, but Grace Zumwinkle found a way to net a one-timer with 26 seconds left in overtime. My personal favorite games in sports are when the underdogs end up taking down the favored teams. I'm about to show you 2 games that ended up going in favor of the unfavored. Back in October, Ohio State headed to the Twin Cities for a matchup against the University of Minnesota, where it appeared that the record books were counting them out. The Buckeyes ended up finding a way to get by the Gophers, and they ended up winning at Minnesota for the first time in 10 years. Minnesota Duluth headed out east a couple of weeks ago to participate in the Windjammer Classic. They went into the tournament as a team that appeared to be counted out since they had to go up against number 2 ranked Colgate. They ended up defeating Colgate 4-1 and moved on to the finals where they defeated Vermont to win the Windjammer Classic. A lot of love in hockey is awarded to the goal scorers, so due to that, the goaltenders tend to get overlooked. I'm about to show you a handful of moments that are going to make you want to show some appreciation for the women between the pipes. In the October matchup between Ohio State and Minnesota Duluth, Cassidy Sauvé demonstrated why she is one of the best tendies in college hockey. Pulling off her third shutout of the season early on, St. Cloud State has talent in net, and there's a new face that is quickly making a name for herself on the Huskies roster. Emma Paluzny set the school record for most saves in a shutout in the month of December as she made 41 stops against Ohio State. Wisconsin's goaltender, Kristen Campbell, leads all Division I goalies in wins, save percentage, and goals against average. Not to mention she also leads the WCHA in shutouts. Some games this season could have easily wound up in overtime or going in the opposing team's direction if it weren't for a certain player who went above and beyond their duties. Here are some women who we like to call weekend heroes who did just that. In a weekend matchup against Penn State, Minnesota Duluth's Jalen Elms came out looking to make a statement in the season's opening weekend as she scored back-to-back game-winning goals both nights of the series. Jacqueline Casa was the biggest factor in the Gophers' win over the Beavers in December as she totaled 4 points on the night and had a hand in every goal scored for Minnesota. Teams that aren't in the WCHA really find out what this league is made of when facing the competition that lies within. When the Tigers of RIT headed into Bemidji, they didn't know what they were in for. A dynamic duo was formed this weekend for the Beavers as Haley Mack and Alexis Joyce each tallied 3 goals, and Mack netted 2 assists while Joyce had 1. The Badgers came into this season hungry for a championship after falling just short in the NCAA championship game a few months prior. Teams in the league knew they were going to be good, but I don't think anyone knew just how good they were going to be. In the month of December, the Wisconsin Badgers improved their record to 21-1, which makes this start the best in program's history. We hope you enjoyed your look at all of the top moments from this past year and are preparing yourself for more hockey action to come in 2018. From all of us with the league, we wish you a happy new year, and we'll see you right back here after the college hockey break.